Welcome to Baby Boomer Tales. My name's Jim. You can find us at babyboomertales.com. That's our webpage. Once you've landed there, you can find links to many places you can hear our podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, and more. There's also pictures of that country I talk about in north central Colorado, Rocky Mountains, and northeastern Kansas. Well, summer's almost over, just a few more days. And this summer, with all its forest fires and wildfires, all the heat and humidity, all the wonderful summer vacations, all those memories maybe you have made or your family made, all the highs and all the lows, all the good and all the bad. It's all bundled up and put into storage in a place called our memories now. I hope you had a good summer, but here comes fall, my favorite time of year. Our song of the week is God Only Knows by the Beach Boys. It's from their 1966 album Pet Sounds. It's written by Brian Wilson. This great song was issued as the B-side of Wouldn't It Be Nice in the United States, but it still peaked at number 39 on Billboard Hot 100 chart. This wonderful song is ranked number 11 in Rolling Stone's list of 500 greatest songs of all time. God only knows what I'd be without you. The other day I was driving up to the city, well, the suburbs, I call that the city. Once I get to the bedroom communities, which is probably 20-25 minutes from me, and then all of a sudden the traffic gets heavier as I'm going up Interstate 35, and there's more and more buildings and businesses and warehouses and all that stuff. As I was on my way, I'd go down a gravel dirt road about 3.5 miles, and then I'd get on blacktop and go into the little town that is called my mailing address. Before I get into town though, on my left is the local cemetery. And it's a nice place. It's well maintained. There's big shady trees around. And it's really not a bad thing to go by at all. Every once in a while I'm driving by, you can tell there's a funeral going on, laying some person that had a lifetime full of memories and stories and family. They're laying them to rest right there. Well, anyway, I was driving by and I saw this old man sitting in a lawn chair facing a headstone. So my mind started thinking, and the way I thought is, I bet that's his wife he's visiting. Now, if that old guy is anything like me, and he probably was similar, because that sounds like something I would do, he's probably talking to his wife, saying something like, Lucille, you ought to see those great-grandbabies anymore. They're getting so old. Brings a smile to my face. Our kids are fine, and their kids are doing well. Billy made the football team. I'm glad of that. He's just like his daddy. And on. He could probably be telling her about little things he did, like, I mowed the backyard yesterday. Kind of wore me out, Lucille. But Shelley had made me some iced tea and brought it over in a big old pitcher and put it in my refrigerator. And I sat there and I cooled down drinking that iced tea. I was listening to that song by the Beatles. You know, the one that reminds us of each other. Darling, I miss you. I really do. I wish you were here, but I know I'll be joining you one of these days when my time here on this old earth is over. So don't you worry about me at all. Or something like that. I have no idea how long he sat there, but I bet he sat there for a while, and I bet he does that every once in a while. go out to the local cemetery and visit his loved one. I'm only speculating if it was his wife or not. You never know. He might be all by himself and never had a family, and just go out there to wonder what if. Or maybe it was a son or daughter he was visiting. You just never know. I know that when I go back to my hometown, my most important stop of my visit there is I go up to the local cemetery. It's a pretty place. It's on a hill, and the hill is full of those quaking aspen trees, and it rolls down this hill and opens up to a beautiful view of a mountain. And I go and I talk to my folks for a while. Last time I was there's these big red ants crawling all over me and cut my visit short. And I thought at that time, if I lived here, I'd bring my weed eater out, trim up the grass, because that little mountain community, it just goes wild there. But I'd trim up the grass and I'd spray those ants. And I'd make sure there's some flowers periodically around there. And maybe I'd even take a lawn chair out and talk to Mom and Dad for a spell. I do that with my animal graveyard at the back of my property. I'll actually spend a little time there. Talk to Sandy and Homer and Maxie. Say hi to the cats like Lucy and Victoria and Garfield. There's a bunch of cats out there. I even have a couple friends' dogs buried out there. I made the mistake one time of thinking that my wife is sentimental like myself. It was about 5 years or so after her mother died, and one Memorial Day I took her up to that cemetery up in the city, and we did find the grave finally and sat there, and I said, "Do you want to linger here for a while?" She said, "No, I want to go home." We got in the car and she said, "Darling, please do one thing for me." I said, "What's that, sweetie?" She said, "Never bring me back here again. My mom's not there anymore." That's where we differ so much, because I know that their spirit is gone and the body's under the dirt, just letting time do its thing to it. And that's not really them anymore. I know that. I'm not kidding myself. I know those things. But for me, there's some sense of closure and of belonging by sitting there at a grave. Maybe a tear will roll down my cheek. Maybe I'll smile and remember so many things. But my wife is not wired like that one little bit. I know that if she would bury me, if I go before her, she probably would never visit my grave. But I also know she's very practical, and she'll probably just have me cremated. It's cheaper, and who knows what she'd do with the ashes. I've decided to let that go and not argue with her about that, because my desire is probably to be buried maybe up at that little cemetery up where I was raised. But this cemetery outside of the town, as I drive towards town, that wouldn't be a bad place. It's very pretty there. But I'm not going to put it in my will and make a stipulation that she has to bury me instead of cremate me. I don't know. I won't be there. Just like she said, I will not be there. It doesn't matter. If she went before me, I don't know what I'd do, because I know that she would probably be against being buried, just because of the way she looks at those kind of things. Oh well, I'm not going to dwell on that. I'm going to dwell on living and life and love and all that good stuff. But my heart goes out to that little old man sitting there in that cemetery, bringing his lawn chair with him so he can be comfortable as he whiles away the hours. Now, when I call him a little old man, there's a very good chance that I'm older than him. I know that. I'm older than most people I know. That's a novel concept, isn't it? Growing older. Who'd ever thunk it? My whole perspective on life has changed as I've grown older. Things that seem so important to me are a lower priority anymore. What is important to me are my friends and my family, my children and my grandchildren especially, but my family, my cousins, my Aunt Connie, my Aunt Jerry. Even though I really barely see any of those folks anymore, I take them with me everywhere I go. I talk about them every once in a while on the podcast. There's a special place in my heart for my cousins and their parents, for my grandparents, for my brothers and my sister and their families. Oh my goodness gracious. Life is a blessing. If you don't feel that way, please try to find something in you that makes you smile about someone in your life. Someone, something, some event, and carry that dear in your heart. And if you feel like you're all alone, maybe take a lawn chair to the cemetery. Maybe buy a ticket to a movie. Maybe just go to the grocery store and smile at somebody. We're never alone if you believe in God. If you believe in love, even if you feel like nobody loves you, do your best to not be unlovable and just let that little light shine inside of you. You'll be glad you did. I admired that man at the cemetery. He wasn't doing that for anybody to see or anybody to say anything. It was just between him and whoever he was visiting in his heart. Always be kind. There's no other way, really. Even when someone or something or circumstances try to steal that from you, always be kind. I'll be back next Wednesday. That's my plan. Peace out.